This is John Colo with OKRAW.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and this is maybe not directed to like all my viewers out there because it's not going to help a lot of you guys, but it might help a few of you guys. And actually, I know there's one person that this video is speaking to right now as I'm making it, and so you'll want to pay attention to this episode because this is the opportunity you guys have been waiting for. All right, so here's the situation. I'm outside the former location of the OKRAW Cafe. This is a living cuisine and juice bar which operated here in Las Vegas. They started the business in 2002. They opened the doors right here at this location in 2003, and they ran it and basically grew their empire from not just one location but to 2 additional locations, and actually have a wholesale distribution business. Since that time, this location has run for 13 years straight, and unfortunately in 2016 they wanted to downsize the business, so they kind of withdrew a little bit, closed 2 of the locations. They still have 1 location that's not even all raw, but all vegan here in Las Vegas, and still doing some wholesale distribution, but they scaled back a lot, so now this location is empty. And so why I'm making this video today for you guys is because this location is actually the closest location to my house. And every once in a while I would actually eat out here, and I'm saddened that it's no longer here. Plus I'm saddened by the fact that here in Las Vegas, a city that has over 1 million people in this area, there is no raw food restaurant. There's some vegan restaurants. A lot of the vegan restaurants, in my opinion, serve vegan processed foods, which is, hey, better than McDonald's, but it's still not, vegan whole foods, which are a few actually, including the Go Vegan Cafe. But there's no 100% raw food restaurants. And so that's why I'm making this video for you guys, to find the one of you guys, the person that has been waiting for an opportunity. Maybe you're going to a job that you don't like, for money you don't, need to pay your bills and all this stuff, and you're just not living a true life to you. I'm happy with what I do. I make gardening videos, I teach about health, I sell juicers. That's what I do for a living, and I'm happy with that. As much as I'd love to open a raw food restaurant, I don't have the time, willingness, or tenacity, or energy to do what it takes, but I know one of you guys out there probably does. Maybe you even have a family, and it could be a family-run business. I mean, if you had a good family with some kids, you could easily take over this spot. You probably wouldn't have to even employ anybody else, and you could run the entire business and make a nice living. But more importantly than making a living that you love, that you're committed to, is that you will be making a difference in the community here in Las Vegas. You will be providing people with healthy food to eat. You can be a source of inspiration and a place for people to come and learn. I've given many classes in the past here at this exact location, and I'd love to do classes here in the future, if this continues to be a raw food, juice bar, smoothie place, restaurant. But this place may turn into a pizza joint, or may turn into a coffee house, or a tea shop, or who knows what else. Then probably it's a lost cause, right? So that's why I'm making this video. And of course, this is also an amazing opportunity for somebody out there. If this business was still running and established, and they had all the equipment and furnishings and menus and everything inside there, and they tried to sell it as a running business, it would cost in excess of over $100,000 is what it would sell for. But because this is empty and it has only the furniture and fixtures, as well as it will come with the lease and a whole bunch of other really cool things that I will get to show you guys are going to get it at fire sale prices. So stay tuned for the end, where we'll go over and I'll sit down about the prices. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to get out of the bad sun here, because you guys can't really see the place too good because of the bad camera angle. But I want to actually talk to you guys more about the location, some of the pros and some of the cons of the location. Then we'll take you guys inside to show you guys like the fixtures and everything that's included. And then I'll sit down with you at a table, side to side, man to man or man to woman, and show you guys, more about the location, how much it grossed, how much it made, and or how much it netted, and more about my opinions on running a successful raw food restaurant here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you don't live in Nevada or Las Vegas currently, well, you might want to move here. It's actually a pretty good place. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on with the tour. So probably one of the coolest features of this raw food restaurant and this location compared to literally almost anywhere else in Vegas is that this is out on a man-made lake. This is actually known as Lake Sahara, and in this area, actually Citibank was just a few blocks away. I'd send my Citibank credit card payment to the Lakes, Nevada many years ago. They had since moved that location. There's another big business in that location. But yeah, and then it's around all these like high-end, high-priced homes. It's like a gated community, and so this restaurant is actually right next to the lake. Like, I mean, no more than 20 feet away. So this is simply amazing. I mean, most of Las Vegas, unfortunately, is just streets and strip malls and stores. But you know, what a perfect place for a raw food restaurant, nonetheless, on such a more natural environment here in Sin City, right? And there's, you know, if you just think about Las Vegas and you think, oh, just partying, there's a whole another side to Las Vegas besides just the strip. You know, we are about 20 to 30 minutes from the strip, depending on how fast you drive and how bad the traffic is. So this is like out of the way, but also fairly convenient. There's a bus lines that runs up, you know, Sahara if you don't have transportation or you can't get an Uber or anything like that. But yeah, this is on a nice lake here. Year-round, nice water, and yeah, they got seating outside here in this exterior area, and then there's actually an interior area. This is kind of almost like public area, but there's another gated area that actually, as a restaurant owner, you would have direct access to, and I think actually that's really cool. So let me go ahead and take you guys to that area next. So now we're inside the gated area. Actually, the previous owners of the restaurant didn't really use too much. Like, I mean, I kind of knew it was here, but I didn't know what was going on with it. But should you desire, you could actually access this space here, and actually it's a nice space with some green area, and they got some little ducks and birds in the lake there. And if you see the property, that's like the window in the front of the property or the restaurant that actually looks out on the lake. In addition, there's like a little docking area that, you know, some of the people in these more expensive homes that live on the lake actually have their own boats, and they could actually boat over, stop, and then eat at your restaurant. How convenient would that be? Or what a romantic date. Actually, I want to do that one of these days. I don't live on the lake, unfortunately. But yeah, so big area that you could actually develop into with the property owner's permission, you know, some kind of nice seating area. So I think that's a really huge benefit, you know, and have like lakeside dining. Where else in Vegas can you do that, right? Ain't happening. Anyways, let's go ahead, head inside and show you guys what you're gonna get if you guys choose to take this opportunity into your hands and open a raw food restaurant. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take you guys through a walkthrough of the OKRAW Cafe here at 2910 Lake East here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And basically they just moved out and closed down in December, and they just left the property. They took all the major small appliances but left all the furniture and fixtures inside. So everything you guys see in here will come with the restaurant should you choose to take upon this investment. And coming inside, this is a nice space, okay? So this space is approximately 1,300 square feet approximately. Before this restaurant, it was another kind of cafe restaurant. Then before that, it was a dance studio and some other stuff. But this is what you're gonna get, you know, you're gonna basically get a bunch of chairs and tables in the front of this side, which is the eating area. And then over on this side, they got these like little arches things. And this is the little store area that they had set up. And now it just comes with the empty racks. We'll throw up some pictures of what it used to look like inside the restaurant, you know, when it's fully operational and filled. It looked a lot nicer than when it's empty right now. But you're gonna get a lot of the things you're gonna need to run a successful restaurant. You know, you got all these NSF Metro racks that are included, and you got all the refrigeration you guys are gonna need. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different refrigerators and 1 freezer, all back in here, including a nice display case here, countertops, stainless steel. Oh yeah, and then let me show you guys how it looks like on the lake here. So I mean, this is a view from your potential restaurant that you could be opening. Right outside you got that lake there. And then you could, you know, make some seating areas along this patio or do something. But yeah, that'd be really nice. And maybe in a door to put in where the window is, or a slider to like easily access outside. That'd probably be a really good idea in my opinion. Of course, this place does need a little bit of work, you know, could use a paint job and just some freshening up and whatnot. You know, I mean, you could get as intricate or as low cost as you want. You could almost come in, this is not quite turnkey because you need to do a couple things, definitely clean it up, some paint. But all the fixtures and chairs and tables work, although you could upgrade that later. And, you know, this area could be turned into a store or something else that's going to be the best use of the space. When I've come in here, you know, like I've never come in here except maybe in the early years when the whole place has been filled, but I don't, you know, come in too often. I hadn't come in too often, but, you know, I'll talk to you guys about one of the reasons why I want this to be taken over into a raw food restaurant, because my girlfriend loves eating out and I'd love to eat here once a week, even if this place turned into a really awesome raw food restaurant with good food that I'd appreciate. Anyways, going into the back here, there's a nice little bar seating area. That could be a bar seating area and a lot more space to do a lot of different things with. Not exactly sure what you'd want to do. But this is a little kitchen area where you could prepare all the food. This is not really set up to do any kind of cooking because it doesn't have like a vent, heat stove or anything, or, you know, vent hood and all this stuff. So, but this is perfect for a raw food restaurant that wouldn't need any kind of venting system or whatever. This is one of the make tables here, and this is the fresh make table. So if you're like preparing, you know, raw burritos, tacos, it's fully refrigerated underneath. And I do want to point out that all the refrigeration here is actually a nice, good brand. It's actually called the True Refrigerator brand. They're a big brand in commercial stuff. So this is all ready to go. Nice Metro rack. Lots of refrigeration, storage for the fresh produce. Over here, another make table to make additional recipes and whatnot. And over here, you got another True refrigeration. This one's the freezer here. So if you want to make banana ice creams and whatnot. In addition, back over here, they got what's required by law to do the dishwashing manually. Of course, you can also probably invest in a, you know, standard dishwasher, electric dishwasher, but you could wash all the dishes in the 3-sink system. There's another sink here to do all the food preparation as well. And then over in the back here, you got the standard bathrooms. You got a nice women's bathroom and a men's bathroom, place for a nice bulletin board. And let me show you guys inside the bathrooms here. Once again, could use a little bit of refurbing, but just a basic bathroom, you know, nice and clean, tidy, basic. Now this is out the back door. Once again, right outside the back door, you have access to that little patio or the lake area with the gate. And the lake's right outside the back door, and then you guys have all the staff parking you need in the back. Let's see, going back in the back here, we also got just like a little storage area, mop room with the mop area, a little sink back there, and more storage, lots of storage up here in the back. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much the tour of this place. Let me go ahead and sit down, talk to you guys more about like the financials, how much this place made in the past, how much it could make in the future, average, you know, checks if somebody would come in, so you guys could figure out if it makes sense for you. So now let's get down to business, right? You guys saw the place, what it looks like, and you know, if this place was occupied, had a full menu, was still running, you know, probably selling in excess of $100,000. That being said, this place can be yours for only $40,000 or best offer, and that's pretty cheap for a restaurant, right? It gives you a location that is already established and known as a raw food restaurant, right? It has been here for 13 years until it just closed down a few months ago. So you could still capitalize on the opportunity that people know this place as the raw food restaurant in Vegas. And if you open back up, people would still continue to come here. The address is still online in many different places, you know, as a really good place for vegans and raw vegans to eat in Las Vegas, number one. I think that's the biggest benefit. Number two, I mean, all the equipment in here that I showed you guys, if you had to just go out and buy that used or something like that, it might cost you about 15 grand. So already, you know, it's a fairly good deal. And then you got a little bit of a differential because you're, you know, you're paying for the lake and, and just you're paying off the old owners to take over the lease, because this is an amazing deal. Now, once you're done with just paying off the owners the price to take over the space and all that stuff, you're gonna have monthly lease payments. It's a 2-year lease, so this place is under $2,500 a month for the lease payment or the rent. So that's gonna work out to about $1.94 per square foot. And regular restaurants in Las Vegas could cost that much. They could cost a little bit less, but let me tell you, they're not gonna be on a nice lake and have a really nice view with an already established track record of being a raw food restaurant. In addition, the phone number, which actually rings here, is on hold with the phone company. So it's quite possible that you can actually take over the phone number they had. So when somebody called the same phone number that people are expecting the raw restaurant, you will be here and you will be a raw food restaurant to answer the phone and to take care of the people. So that's pretty good as well. And then, the lease is 2 years. So once you get into this deal, the lease is 2 years and it's renewable at the end of 2 years. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the financials. Next, you're kind of wondering, John, I mean, that's a lot of money. I know a lot of you guys might be money. I mean, I started my first business actually on my credit cards. And trust me, it took many years to pay off my credit cards until I started making profit again and until I paid off all my debts. I'm not telling you guys you should do that. This would probably be the best idea for somebody that actually already had some money saved, that wanted to do something with their money to create their own job instead of working for somebody that you don't like. I mean, at least if you have your own job, you're doing it for you, and your income potential is unlimited. Whereas if you guys are not working for yourself in your own business, right, you have a very limited income because you're getting paid generally by the hour or by salary. If you're getting paid by the hour, get $20 an hour, there's 8 hours in a day, you guys are never gonna make more than $160 unless maybe you get overtime or something once in a while. But if you have a restaurant like this, right, and you're selling lots of juices and lots of raw food, menu items, you can make a lot more money. And especially if you're creative with the marketing and how you market this place. In my opinion, the marketing in the past for the Go Raw restaurants maybe were not the best, and they could have been done a lot better. And to increase your reach, increase your education, and more importantly, increase the healthy plant-based raw fruit and vegetables that you could get out to people and teach them why it's so important. Another thing that you guys are gonna get from taking this over and buying this from the previous owners is that you'll get an instant resource. They're gonna help you out sourcing and sharing with you guys where to get all your wholesale produce, your dry goods, all the different contacts and people that you'll need to talk to and handle all the different things. So you'll have almost a personal coach to help get you started. Now, they're not gonna get too deep into this, but they are gonna help you get started because basically they're still running a vegan and raw food restaurant here in Las Vegas, and they work really hard to help get healthy people healthy food, or get people healthy food. And they got their hands full with what their current business is, and they don't want to see this go to the wayside and see this turned into a non-vegan place or something like that. But of course, they also need to get their financial interest out of this location as well. So this is a $40,000 or best offer, and it's negotiable. And I met with one of the owners the other day, and I would say that they're motivated sellers. They're not maybe needing to sell this immediately, but they're motivated. So they're willing to work with you. They'll take a good sizable down payment. If you've had like $25,000 down, they take payments on the rest. That being said, once you put that money in, you're gonna get what you guys see here. You're gonna have to start making your rent payments, your utility payments. You're gonna have to, furnish the kitchen with like Vitamixes and blenders and juicers and food processors and all the different, knives and cutlery and spiral slicers and all that stuff. So don't just think, I got that much money, John, I could do it, right? I want you guys to have at least like double that amount of money as a backup, to get you up and running, because you're also going to need to paint, spend some time in here to make it nice. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here personally. Once again, I'm not in any position to dedicate a large portion of my time to do this. I know one of you guys out there is, and I would tell you guys this, right? I want you guys to open this place if you're really excited about working for yourself, really excited about sharing the health benefits of eating fruits and vegetables in a raw foods diet, right? If you like juicing, if you like preparing food, you love preparing food, and even more important than just you love preparing food, right? you've gone to different raw food potlucks and different vegan potlucks. You've taken your dishes to like family events and nobody else at your family events eats raw or vegan. And they all comment like, wow, man, your food's really good. And then you know you got some really good recipes if you could just, you know, please regular people that don't even eat raw. I mean, that happens to me all the time, but once again, right, restaurants are a lot of work. I'm not gonna say it's not a lot of work, right? You're gonna work a lot, more than probably you ever worked to keep the restaurant up and running. But I think if you do it smart, it can definitely work. I think next what I want to do is I want to go into more of the financials and see maybe why this might make sense for you, right? So the Go Raw Cafe was open here for about 13 years, right? In the peak before the crash, around 2009, I think, you know, they were doing for the net income or gross income, not the net. The net's like after you take out all the expenses, but they would basically take in $1 million a year in revenue, you know, selling $1 million worth of juices and smoothies and raw foods. You know, that kind of went down over the years, maybe like later years it was maybe only $500,000, you know, income. So that is what is potentially here if you ran it properly. You know, maybe the last few years, I don't know how much it was, but might not be so much. But I don't know, you know, I don't know their financials, but that's what I was told. And it seems legitimate, you know. So you could make $500,000 income a year, minus of course all your expenses. So what are your expenses, you know? So some of the main expenses here are gonna be the utilities. Utilities can get quite expensive in the winter months when it's not so hot out in Vegas. Could be like $100 for the electricity bill. You're gonna also have like a $20 or $30 gas bill. For the hot water heater and for the heating for the winter time. And then you got, you know, water, sewer, garbage, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure about all that, but I will say that the electricity during the summer, that's when it's going to go up. You know, in the peak of the summer, it could be like as high as $500. So I want you guys to be prepared for that. Now, the reason for that is, you know, there's an air conditioning unit that they just recently replaced, so it is powerful enough to cool this place down. But the other thing is, like, there's things you could do to cut costs, right? So probably the major cost is in the summertime, it's really hot outside. The heat transfers through the glass, and this is nice facing, so the sun's gonna come in the morning, heat this place up really warm, and you could have your air conditioning fighting it to keep it cooler. Or you could put these special like coatings on the glass now. There's like special window tinting that could prevent a lot of the IR heat from coming in. I know because I researched this for my car. I just got a new Nissan, or a used Nissan Leaf that I want to get tinted. And there's many different kinds of tinting, not just the standard dark tint that makes it look all black. Actually, you could have a pretty fairly clear tint that rejects, you know, most of the IR. So it's going to keep it cooler inside here. Inside a car anyways, it could keep it like 40 degrees cooler. So, you know, that's definitely very important to get all the windows properly tinted with the right IR coating. To reject the heat, and not all window tinting does that. And I think that could bring down the cost there. Of course, then you're going to have costs for labor and staff, which can get expensive, and that's why it's good to have like a family that could help you out with this, or if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or couple. If you had a couple, you know, you could probably run this pretty good. You might need an extra person or two, but yeah. And I don't know. I think this is a really cool place, and I'd hate to see this get turned into like a pizza parlor or a bar or something else kind of crazy. Let's talk more about like how much money you could make here. So the average bill that when a couple would come in, for example, the owner told me it was about usually $30 on average, and that seems about right. You know, you get a appetizer and maybe 2 entrees and maybe a smoothie or something. 30 bucks for 2 people, or 60 bucks for 4 people. And in the restaurant industry, generally your profits are about double. So if the bill costs 30, your food costs, labor and all this stuff are about maybe $15 worth, and you're making 15 bucks. So I think I calculated it per day just to pay the rent. You're gonna have to make $81 profit, just about $81 to pay your rent. And then of course you're gonna have all the other expenses on top of that. That didn't seem too hard for me, basically, but you just gotta get out there and market. So let's talk about marketing for a little bit. Should you take over this space? How will you market this place? Okay, so number one, you're going to want to go and make sure that Yelp knows you're updated and you're open again and you've renamed. Number 2, Happy Cow knows you're available, because a lot of people search Happy Cow. You get a lot of business from there. Also, be sure to let people in the surrounding area, I'd probably send flyers to all the people that live on the lake to let them know that you're here and they could boat over and eat or something like that. I think getting a hold of local places, like there's a personal trainer next door and it's convenient for people that are being personal trained, to come over and buy a juice or two or get a healthy meal, contacting local gyms, yoga centers, and working deals with them, especially yoga centers. People into yoga are usually into health and they want to have some fresh juice and they want to have some healthy food, some raw food. And so working with them to have some kind of like a program, reciprocal program, where you could advertise a yoga center, send people there and they could get a special discount, or they pre-buy. So many different ways to do it. I think also, this place is known for catering, when conventions come into town, people at conventions, because Vegas is a big convention town, people that come to CES every year, some people are raw vegans and they want to come to a place to eat, or people are just vegans, and this place is known as a place they could come to eat. And so what better place than if it actually was reopened to actually even have better recipes and new and exciting smoothies and juices that people could buy. So I think the established part's really good, and of course doing some reach out marketing for a low cost or inexpensive can actually be quite beneficial as well. So now I just want to share with you guys some other of my thoughts about this opportunity here that I'm sharing with you guys today. Number one of the good things going for this location is, there's many parts of Las Vegas. Some parts are maybe not the best parts, but this is probably one of the better sides of town. It's in the Summerlin area of town, which basically means the people that have a little bit more affluence live in this area. They're generally more educated. For example, Trader Joe's just opened up the street, maybe like 3 miles away from this location here. They only open up in maybe nice, more affluent areas, and that Trader Joe's is doing really well. Also, another store opened up, probably maybe like within 2 miles of this exact spot right here, Sprouts Farmers Market, really good health food store. Once again, they have specific criteria for opening stores up in different areas, and from the produce manager that actually watches my videos, he knew me because he transferred here from Southern California. He says this is like one of the top Sprouts stores in the nation for sales. So actually, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So there is definitely a healthy people in this area that would support a restaurant like this. So I think it is possible. Plus, you'd be the only raw food restaurant in Las Vegas, 100% raw food restaurant, if you decided to open one. I think another thing that's very important besides just being a raw food restaurant is also being a place for smoothies and juices. Smoothies and juices are much more readily acceptable than raw foods. And I think having really a good juice press or juicer, I even have a connection if you were gonna open here for sugarcane. So if you guys want to go to LA once a month or something and bring back a bunch of sugarcane, maybe got some additional refrigeration, you guys could be probably like one of the only places in Las Vegas to serve fresh sugarcane juice. Yeah, I mean, I have connections with all the equipment as well. But yeah, there's so many different things. But with the juice bar, I think it's very important to get, sell juice cleanse and juice programs. People could come in and pick up their 6 juices a week, and they buy like a month of juices, so they could do a juice cleanse. I think that's really where the money is getting people hooked on your service and them coming back every month. Because once you have 100 people buying your juice program and you're making just tons of juices, that supports and pays your rent, even if your restaurant is not doing so well. Having people on a meal program, right? My girlfriend, she's really maybe likes to just grab and go. I'm sure she'd probably come down here often if you just had a grab and go session. She could just come and grab it, go and eat it, right? But the other thing is, so would so many other people. And likewise, you could get them on a meal program. Hey, we'll make a meal for you like every day of the week, or come here on Wednesdays and pick up all your food for the week, and you could have it. I mean, I think people really want convenience in this day and age. I think it's kind of sad in a way, because I want all my other viewers to make food and prepare it for yourselves. But of course, some of us won't do that. I like to do that. I love preparing food and making my own food and making it different every time and not having the same exact things, because it's all based on seasonal availability of produce, of what I have in my garden growing, and what I could get at that time of year. But yeah, I think those are some of my thoughts on creating business and making this work. So now I want to talk to you guys about moving to Las Vegas. John, should I move to Las Vegas and take over that restaurant, man? I'm currently in Minnesota or Wyoming, or maybe you're in California, right? I mean, I moved to Las Vegas from California, or moved to Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. And actually, I love it here, right? I mean, there's pros and cons to every place that you might live, but with Nevada, there's a few things. Okay, number one, there's no state income tax. So in California, they take a good percentage of my income every year just because it has to go to the state income tax. For example, I'd pay the federal government, you know, say I pay the federal government $100 because that's what I owed on my federal income taxes. I'd pay the state another $50. Man, that's a chunk of change, right? But in Nevada, you just pay the federal government every year, your income tax, and there's no state income tax. So that's totally amazing. I like that a lot. Another thing I like living in Las Vegas is the weather. As you guys can see, it's nice and sunny out today. We're in April here, and the temperature's like in the 80s today. You know, so April, May, June, it's still fairly nice. July, August gets really hot. You know, September, October, November, it's kind of like, you know, really nice because it's not getting too cold yet. And we have a year-round growing season here. There's no snow on the ground, you know, I know a lot of you guys are still living in the snow. That sucks. The other thing, you know, that's good and bad. You know, it's good if you live here, and it's especially good if you're from the Pacific Northwest and in the winters you're used to just it raining and being cloudy and overcast every day. Here in Las Vegas, like, it's not cloudy and rainy every day in the wintertime. It might be sunny, you know, and maybe cloudy, but it's not like overcast, and most days it actually doesn't rain. I mean, yes, we need water, and Las Vegas is maybe not the most sustainable place to live, but I like the weather year-round growing season. Much nicer climate. And also, your work is needed here. I mean, if you're moving like from a place that's really health conscious to Las Vegas, they need more health conscious people here in Las Vegas because most of Las Vegas is not health conscious. There needs to be more beacons of light, you know, more people that could spread a plant-based message. I mean, I try to do teaching here every month, and if you reopened, I'd likely have my talk here every month at your place because I need to give my talk somewhere, and it's pretty difficult for me to find a place to give my talk sometimes. And this is actually really convenient to me. But yeah, so Las Vegas has lots of benefits to moving here and living here. Also, the cost of living super low, right? Cost of living super low, way cheaper than living in Northern California. The cost of gas is less than Northern California. Food is generally less expensive. Of course, if you're moving somewhere from like Northern California, the organic produce, you know, varieties are actually less. But the prices are generally cheaper, so that's pretty good. And if you're moving here from somewhere where you don't get a lot of produce because you're maybe in the Midwest or some of the parts of the East Coast, there's pretty good organic availability of produce here, which is Sprouts and the Trader Joe's, and of course the Whole Foods is also about 3 miles away from this location as well. And of course, I can't forget about all the cool ethnic stores in the area that have all kinds of different produce. So a few more details that I want to share with you guys is, if you do run a food service restaurant or anything having to do with food here in Nevada, as in most states, you will have to get inspected by the health department. And so this place, this restaurant, former restaurant, has had an A grade, which is the top grade for health department. So this is ready and waiting for you to open so they could start inspecting. You get the A grade again, so you won't have any problems with the health department for that or passing any kind of approvals, because this is previously a restaurant and you're basically just taking it over for all they care. Another point is that you couldn't keep the name, you couldn't keep the OKRAW name, so you'd have the opportunity to make your own name that might even be more attractive to people coming in to eat and wanting to support you. I think OKRAW, that could kind of like maybe be a little bit limiting in some ways, so maybe having a good name, explaining what you do, maybe even focusing on juices and smoothies or something about good, healthy, whole plant food. I don't exactly know what's in a name, but it's definitely probably one of the most important aspects of your business, so that's important to know. And I think the final thing I'd like to share is that should you purchase this restaurant and should you get on this opportunity, I want you guys to be serious about one thing. I know some of you guys might be able to make food, and even if you're not able to make food, right, making food is not as important as what I'm going to share with you guys right now. Most important thing when you own a restaurant is customer service. You got to be friendly. You got to always have a smile on your face, even if you're having the worst day. You got to be nice to people, right? And if you like people, you generally like people, and you're always friendly to people. You always have a smile on your face. This is the business for you. Even if you don't have the skills of being a chef, those can be taught. I know people You know, Arnold's Way in Pennsylvania, he'll help you with the menu. Arnold's a cool guy. He wants more raw food restaurants around. I made a video with him that I never got to air. Hopefully I'll find it and be able to air it one of these days. But he's there to be as a resource to help people open their restaurant, because he's run he's probably one of the longest standing raw food restaurants. And he knows what works, he knows what sells, and he's there also to help you. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention is, if you do end up buying this place because of this video that you guys are watching, I will commit to dedicating 6 hours for free at no charge consultation. I'll help you for 6 hours of my time. I went to school for business management marketing. I've been to probably more raw food restaurants than anybody I know, and I've seen what works, I see what doesn't work. Also, I have very good innovative ideas on how to market a business successfully and how to make business work, right? I mean, one of the big things I would share is you know, you could buy from produce distributors that will deliver it to you, but that's not the cheapest way or the best way to do it, in my opinion. You know, I mean, one of the things I would do is actually I would take a trip, whether that's myself or somebody that I trusted, and just drive 4 hours to the Los Angeles Wholesale Produce Terminal, drive to LA and pick up a load of sugarcane, pick up your fruits and vegetables fresh for way cheap, bring it back, and your menu may not be able to be, you know, 100% the same all the time, because sometimes you're not going to get maybe what you need. Of course you could go to organic distributors that are always going to have the same stuff, but this way you're going to be able to cut your costs. Also, another thing I changed that a lot of raw food restaurants don't really do at this day and age is they have basically nut heavy and oil heavy recipes. Nuts and oils are quite expensive. You know, fruits and vegetables are much less. So I would have fruit and vegetable dominated recipes with, you know, smaller amounts of nuts and seeds, so you could lower some of your food costs, and you're filling up people with water weight, which granted is also the healthiest foods on the planet. But yeah, you could save, I mean, I saved just this past month, I saved over $1,000 on my produce for just me and my girlfriend by shopping at the wholesale produce terminal. So I mean, what I'd like to see actually in this space is even putting in some more refrigeration for retail sales of organic produce, that you're just sharing the wealth of what you're picking up in California and bringing it back here, things that aren't available at Trader Joe's or Sprouts or even Whole Foods. So yeah, I will donate 6 hours of my time to sit down with you, and you could ask me any questions, and you know, how I think a raw food restaurant should be run, how I might do it, and you could take my, you know, opinions for what they're worth. And of course, then also I'd be coming down to eat quite often with my girlfriend, because she loves to eat out, and there's so many days she's like, let's eat out, John. I'm like, hun, we got like better food here. But I'd love to be able to say, hey, let's go down the street. I'm not compromising on my diet, because you're gonna make something similar to what I'd make at home, right? And so I think that'd be really awesome. So this one person that this video speaks to, this is why I made the video. I mean, most of my people watching, all my subscribers probably don't really care about this, but I know there's somebody out there that wants to take this opportunity by the horns, start their own restaurant, have a successful restaurant. Few things I want you to have though. Number one, you gotta have passion. You gotta really want to do this. You gotta love it. You gotta have some money to do it also, and you gotta be a people person, very important. Have all those skills, or at least have a girlfriend or boyfriend, you know, that has some of those skills that you don't have, right? So if you're interested in this opportunity, please be sure to click that link down below. That'll get you in contact directly with me. Fill out your full information. I'll forward that on to the owner, and we'll definitely get you in contact with them, so you guys should negotiate a good deal, see the space, and learn and answer any of your questions that you might need. So yeah, I hope this place turns into, once again, a thriving and healthy raw food restaurant, a beacon of light here in Las Vegas. So once again, if you guys enjoyed this episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also, if you have friends that are vegan, raw vegan, that are looking to open a restaurant, hey, forward them this video. Share this on, you know, your Facebook, on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, whatever. Share it everywhere so that more people could be aware of this opportunity, because I really would like to see a raw food restaurant open in Las Vegas. It's 100% raw and of course organic. Also, be sure to like this video. If you like this format, want me to do more videos on like starting your own business, hey, give me a thumbs up. I'm a big advocate for people starting their own business instead of working for the man, working, you know, by the hour. That's never a way to get ahead, in my opinion. Also, you could set your own hours, and you could be happy with your job. You could wake up and I love to come to work and make food every day for other people and feed other people a healthy food. I mean, what greater thing could you do in your life, right? I mean, I love teaching people how to garden, because that's even more important than making food, in my opinion, is to have healthy food to feed them. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any new and upcoming episodes I have coming out about every 5 to 7 days on this YouTube channel. And be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, so you guys can learn how to eat a healthy fruit and vegetable dominated raw food diet. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRAW.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.